receive the highest quality care. Medical oxygen is a vital component in the treatment and management of countless health conditions, from emergency to critical care patients, surgery, neonatal care, and respiratory support. The installation of this oxygen plant represents more than just an infrastructure upgrade. It is a symbol of resilience and dedication to saving lives. I wish to express our sincere gratitude to the OCS, the government of Anguilla, and all the stakeholders for their support and collaboration in making this project a reality. Their contribution is a testimony of what we can achieve when we work together with a shared vision of strengthening healthcare systems for the benefit of all. Today, we celebrate progress, partnership, and a future where every patient has access to this essential oxygen they need. Thank you for being a part of this moment. We look forward to continuing our mission for delivering safe, effective, and compassionate care to our community. Thank you. Today, my name is Lynette Carty, and I will be your chairperson for this afternoon's program. We now continue with remarks from the Health Service Commissioner, Mr. Malcolm Webster.
Good afternoon, all. I know it's hot. I know. Allow me to adopt the protocol already established. Today, my brief remarks will sound more like a vote of thanks. I'm going to allow my biomedical engineer to actually give you the remarks. But before she comes, today I want to speak just a little bit about our focus on continuous improvement and, as Sister Lynette said, resilience. Firstly, I want to express my sincerest thanks to Almighty God that we are here and through the many things that we have survived and endured. I want to thank Anguilla Technic Sales for their more than 40 years of service in providing oxygen to this hospital, as in Princess Alexandra Hospital and our old College Hospital. Without them, we wouldn't even be here. I've also have to say the same thanks to B&E, who has been continuously supporting us for the last 9 years. One of our strategic goals is to strengthen healthcare delivery across all our facilities. And I can honestly say that delivering oxygen is both time-consuming and tiring, and is one of those jobs that nobody really likes to do. Unfortunately, it is one of the most vital jobs that we have within the hospital, because oxygen is actually the breath of life. This project started not a few months ago or a few years ago, but actually, as I was speaking to the governor, the initial beginning of this project would have started back in 2017. That's when we got Hurricane Irma. And I came down here on a Sunday because the hospital was out of oxygen, and the then Minister of Health, Mr. Honorable Evans McNeil Rogers, was here. And he saw the struggle that we were going through just to get oxygen in and from the hospital. And now, in mentioning his name, I must also say his apologies. I'm sure that somebody's going to apologize on his behalf as well. But I know he called me and said to make sure that I said that he's grateful for the project, he's grateful for the opportunity, and he misses the chance to be here. The only question that Rogers asked me then was, how much did the plan cost? And once he knew what the plan cost, he came back the next day and said, well, just go ahead and put it over there, which is kind of where here is now. Fast forward past COVID-19, we had a plant that was able to produce 10 bottles a day, and that for us was life-changing. We were no longer dependent on having a boat from St. Martin or a vendor on island. But since COVID-19, we've been severely challenged in being able to deliver oxygen in the hospital and on the island in a timely manner. And so the genesis for the thought of this project came about. And so I begin with my vote of thanks. This would not even be possible if it was not for our now CNO, Mrs. Twyla Bradshaw-Richardson, and our CMO, Dr. Andrew, in giving me a call one afternoon to say, listen, OECS and Direct Relief, they have a project going on. They're looking for projects that they can assist with within the hospital. And so I walked across from that conversation and I said, well, I should probably talk to Charles, my biomedical engineer. And her and I sat down and we hashed out a few different ideas. We thought about, for example, dialysis, putting, shutters on dialysis and grounding the building and all these other things. And then Charles said, you know what, I think we have to focus on getting piped oxygen into the hospital. And so today I have to thank those three ladies for making the initiative, for making this idea, and even the possibilities of this idea a reality. Please give them a round of applause. Don't worry, ladies, I did buy you flowers myself, so I'll be able to pass those out. I'm not just going to do words. In so doing, Charles and myself went down many different iterations of how this should work. She was actually the backbone for a lot of how this stuff started, getting the documents in. And I can't forget that Anila's here, and though she wasn't on my side of the team at that point, she was the one that would always call and say, Malcolm, did you do this? Malcolm, remember you have this deadline. Malcolm, remember that we need to get this. You have to have all of these things lined up so that this project could happen. I don't know how it was before because I'm told that we had piped oxygen before. But walking through the hospital now and seeing that we're able to actually just connect to our bedside, to me, makes the world of differences. I see Alna shaking her head, so I believe that, having that opportunity means it's a lot less work for Ardleys. And so I want to thank the OECS and Direct Relief for the opportunity to partner with you, for seeing the importance of the project, for taking the time to come to Anguilla. And I know you guys didn't get to do a pre-visit like you planned, but I hope that what you see is actually a true representation of what it is that we planned and what we said we would do. And so I want to thank you all for your contribution and for what the things that you have done. I'm going to ask that Ms. Charles come and that she comes and give you some specifics on the plant and where we're going and why we're doing this. But today, I think Anguilla and our hospital has gone leaps and bounds ahead of where we were. And I know that we can only take it from here. I thank you. I appreciate you all. Ms. Charles.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Kindly allow me to establish the protocol. Sorry. Short people. Allow me to adopt the protocol already established. Distinguished guests, representatives from the Ministry of Health, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, project partners, colleagues, and friends, it is an honor to mark the official handover of the new oxygen generation plant at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. This occasion represents more than just the commissioning of new equipment. It marks a milestone in Anguilla's pursuit of health security, sustainability, and resilience. The plant stands as a symbol of progress, innovation, and partnership, proof of what can be achieved through shared vision and commitment to community well-being. For years, the Princess Alexandra Hospital has been the foundation of healthcare on the island, serving residents and visitors with dedication despite many challenges. Among the most critical has been maintaining a reliable supply of medical oxygen, the element that sustains life and supports every aspect of patient care. Dependence on imported oxygen once left the healthcare system vulnerable. Hurricane Irma and the COVID-19 pandemic exposed those weaknesses as supply disruptions and high costs underscored the urgent need for local capacity. A vital step came in 2020 with the installation of a small OxyWise plant. which provided essential relief during the height of the pandemic. However, growing demand soon required a more advanced, efficient, and self-sustaining system. That vision has now become a reality through the generous partnership of the OECS. The new plant produces up to 100 cylinders of medical grade oxygen daily and delivers it directly to key departments, including the emergency room, operating theaters, wards, maternity, and dialysis units. Built to international NFPA and CGA standards, it features automated regulation, safety valves, and redundancy systems to ensure continuous, safe, and reliable supply. Beyond its technology, this initiative embodies sustainability and resilience. Local oxygen generation reduces environmental impact, lowers operational costs, and guarantees continuity of care during natural disasters or border closures, strengthening the island's capacity to protect public health under any circumstance. Deep appreciation is extended to the Ministry and Department of Health Services, the OECS, project partners, suppliers, and facilities staff whose collaboration transformed this vision into a lasting reality. Their dedication has ensured that the hospital can now provide uninterrupted, high-quality care supported by modern, dependable infrastructure. As a biomedical engineer, it is deeply fulfilling to witness this transformation. Technology harnessed in the service of people, ensuring every patient breathes easier and every clinician works with confidence. This plant represents not only engineering excellence, but a commitment to life itself. Thank you.
We will now recognize the Honorable Premier, Cora Richardson Hodge, Minister of Finance, Labor, Immigration, Home Affairs, and Constitutional Affairs. Good afternoon. We will continue with the remarks from Dr. Roxanne Bison St. Martin from the OECS.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I adopt the protocols that were established previously, but I do want to acknowledge the Governor of Anguilla, the Premier of Anguilla, and the Minister of Health. On behalf of the OECS Commission, the Director General, Dr. Didacus Jules, my colleagues and I are truly honored to be here to celebrate with you the successful completion of the Enhancing Infrastructure and Resilience in OECS Member States project for Anguilla. I think Mr. Malcolm would have already articulated how important this initiative was, but just to highlight that this initiative represents a direct and tangible response to the needs that you have articulated to strengthen Anguilla's health system and addressing critical gaps in health infrastructure. It reflects a project designed with your specific priorities in mind to ensure relevance, sustainability, and measurable impact. Just to provide some context, this initiative, funded by Direct Relief, a California-based nonprofit organization, has allocated $3 million US to strengthen health infrastructure and resilience across our OECS member states. This partnership acknowledges our shared vulnerabilities and addresses the needs for systems that can withstand shocks, mitigate risks, and protect public health. Through this support, we have been able to address critical health system challenges, enhance emergency preparedness, and ultimately health outcomes for our people. The installation of this medical oxygen system marks an important milestone in this journey. It provides an essential piece of infrastructure that enables a continuous and reliable supply of oxygen. I think Ms. Charles would have articulated that. enhance patient safety through stable and uninterrupted delivery, reduce manual handling, we had that discussion this morning, and increased operational and cost efficiency. Just this morning, Ms. Charles was indicating that on a monthly basis, it cost Anguilla 40,000 US just for the oxygen, which is about 480,000 US per year. Now, these funds can be allocated to something else. As small island developing states, we share a common reality, one marked by limited fiscal space, constrained resources, and heightened vulnerability to climate change, economic shocks, and natural disaster. Within this context, our health system faces ongoing challenges, health financing constraints, human resource shortages and skills imbalance, infrastructure limitations, and persistent service delivery gaps. Ms. Charles would have also highlighted the whole COVID-19 pandemic that has amplified our vulnerabilities and revealing critical gaps in our system. At the OECS Commission, our strategic priorities, anchored in the broader mandate of regional integration, places strong emphasis on resilience building across our member states. This means strengthening our collective capacity to plan, manage, and respond to hazards and outbreaks, both nationally and regionally. This project is therefore closely aligned with our objective of improving access to and investment in quality health services while reducing health disparities, particularly during times of crisis. Within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goal, this initiative contributes directly to the attainment of Goal 3, specifically Target 3.9, which calls for strengthening the capacity of all countries, especially developing nations, for early warning, risk reduction, and management of national and global health risks. Equally important is SDG 17, which speaks to partnerships for the goal. This project stands as a clear example of how strategic partnerships can yield lasting impact, fostering collaboration, experiential learning, and adaptive capacity within our region. Today's handover ceremony is therefore more than a technical achievement. It is a celebration of collaboration and purpose. It demonstrates what we can accomplish when regional and national teams work together towards a common goal, improving lives and building a healthier, more resilient future for our people. Allow me therefore to formally acknowledge the government and people of Anguilla, led by Mr. Webster, who is our focal point for this project, for their dedication and commitment to this process. I also wish to recognize the OECS team, led by Anela Jean-Marc, the project officer, and with us today we have Mr. Jemmy Bailey, the procurement officer, whose partnerships have been instrumental in achieving this milestone. The collaboration and synergy between both teams exemplifies what is possible when planning, communication, and stakeholder engagement are given priority. As we move forward, let us remember that this is not merely about the successful installation of the system. It is about the impact on the lives of the people of Anguilla. It is about ensuring that every patient in need can receive care reliably, safely, and with dignity. Again, on behalf of the OECS Commission, I extend heartfelt congratulations and appreciation to share in this moment of achievement. The Commission remains steadfast in its commitment to supporting our member states through initiatives such as these, advancing regional cooperation, resilience, and the well-being of the people we serve. Thank you once again.
We will continue with remarks from the Honorable Minister of Health, Mr. Cardigan Connor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Scotty. I too adopt the protocol established and would also like to offer apologies from my colleagues, especially the Honorable Evans McNeil Rogers, who should be standing here to make a presentation, but in fact is overseas, and my other colleagues, but we're well supported by our Premier, the Honorable Cora Richardson Hodge. Pleasant good afternoon to all. Today we celebrate a milestone of achievement in our nation's health system, the commissioning and handover of the new centralized medical oxygen plant and pipeline system at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. This is not just a piece of equipment. It is an investment in life, safety, and resilience. It ensures that every patient in this hospital, from the emergency room to intensive care unit, will have reliable access to medical-grade oxygen when it is needed most. The experiences of Hurricane Irma, and as we talk about Hurricane Irma, we spare thought to our brothers and sisters down in Jamaica and the Northern Caribbean, and the COVID-19 pandemic, which exposed how dependent we are on imported oxygen supplies. When borders closed and transport routes were disrupted, the delivery of care was placed at risk. This government, including the former Anguilla United Front government, resolved to change that. Through the Department of Health Services in partnership with the OECS Commission, and again just a part of the OECS Commission, we work together as a team in health. We work together with the Caribbean Tourism Organization, CTO, when it comes to tourism. We work together in sports with the West Indies, and we work together to help those in Jamaica, Haiti, who are likely to suffer some disasters. Direct relief and local engineers, we launched this project valued at approximately $620,000 US, and that was to make Anguilla self-sufficient in oxygen production and distribution. Some of the key benefits means that this new system will guarantee continuous oxygen supply across all critical units. It will enhance infection control and reduce injuries linked to cylinder handling, as was mentioned earlier. It will deliver significant cost savings over time. And again, it's quite a lot of money, over 400,000 plus US, and that it definitely will be used elsewhere, and support our environmental and disaster resilient goals by reducing waste and carbon emissions. In acknowledgement, I would like to deeply say how grateful we are to our partners, again, the OECS Commission, Direct Relief, and the many contractors and consultants, including Oxyair, DLG Engineering, and Beacon Midas, for their technical and financial contributions. Special commendation is due to Mr. Malcolm Webster, and earlier when it was mentioned about Mr. Webster, I think it's important that the Malcolm comes in front, and Ms. Kendisha Charles, whose expertise and leadership guided this project from concept to completion, and to the entire team at the Princess Alexandra Hospital. We thank you for your continued dedication to the people of Anguilla. And that side joke means that as politicians, wherever we get a chance to take credit, we'll take it. In closing, I would say this oxygen plant stands as a symbol of our vision, a modern, resilient, and sustainable health system that puts people first. As we take ownership of this facility, let us commit to maintaining it and using it wisely, for it represents the breath of life for our nation. That is a great cliche, oxygen, the breath of life. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
We will now have the closing remarks by the Honorable Premier of Anguilla, Mrs. Cora Richardson Hodge.
Good afternoon to all. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this important occasion, I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation to everyone who has contributed to making this project a reality. Today marks another significant step forward in strengthening Anguilla's healthcare system and ensuring that our people have access to essential medical resources right here at home. The commissioning of this oxygen generation plant symbolizes resilience, innovation, and partnership, qualities that continue to define our journey as a nation. I want to express sincere gratitude to our partners from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, our contractors and contributors whose support and collaboration have been instrumental in bringing this initiative to fruition. To Ms. Anila Jean-Marc, Project Officer, Ms. Jemmy Bailey, Procurement Officer at the OECS Commission, and Dr. Roxanne Brixton St. Martin, Program Officer and Director for Health, Social Inclusion, and Social Protection. Thank you for your dedication, your expertise, and your commitment to improving the health and well-being of the people of our region. I also extend deep appreciation to the technical staff of the Department of Health Services, ably led by Mr. Malcolm Webster, Health Services Commissioner, and his hard-working team. Your tireless efforts, professionalism, and vision have ensured the successful implementation of this project. This plant represents more than just new equipment. It represents hope, self-sufficiency, and our collective promise to provide quality health care to every Anguillan. Once again, I thank all of our partners, stakeholders, and everyone who played a role in making this moment possible. Together, we continue to build a healthier, stronger, and more resilient Anguilla. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite you to join us for the official ribbon-cutting exercise marking the formal handover of the oxygen generation plant. Thank you.
As we prepare for the ribbon cutting, I invite the Honorable Premier, the members of the OECS team, and those distinguished guests, and the Commissioner of Health to come forward, and the facilities team who work tirelessly to come forward as they cut the ribbon.
Yeah.
Okay.